त्रिनयनां माणिक्यमौली स्फुरत् तारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीमां मीनवक्षोरुहां पाणिभ्यामलिपूर्णरत्नचषकं रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रतीं घटस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत् परामम्बिकाम् सततज्वर विषमज्वर ग्रह नक्षत्र दोषाञ्चान्या हर हर काली सर सर गौरी गम विद्ये आले माले काले बन्धे भज भज विद्ये मख मख विद्ये नाशय नाशय पापम् हर हर दुःस्वप्नं विध्वंसय विध्वंसय
A warm welcome to day, the second session of the 31st day of the Global Festival of Yoga. We started this marathon, or as Anuji says, Yogathon, on 21st June 2020. That's the International Day of Yoga. And we have been continuing ever since with all the support and goodwill and love that we have been receiving. As you all know, Indica Yoga is a platform that offers diverse and inclusive forms of yoga that is authentic, immersive, and transformative in nature. And in the string of sessions, both comprising practical sessions, theory sessions, experiential sessions, today we are very pleased to bring before you Shri Chirayu Thakkar ji. I request Chirayu ji to kindly come on screen. Namaste Chirayu ji.
Namaste, namaste, namaste.
Swagatam.
Thank you very much. I wish I could speak Sanskrit like you. I'll take some time, but I'll get there.
we'll surely have some lessons for that.
Lovely.
Yes. So thank you very much for joining us this morning at your end. You're joining from LA, USA, and we have friends who have joined us from every part or every continent from across the world. So welcome them and welcome you to this session. Many of you might know Chirayuji, and I'm sure many of your students would have joined us this evening here. Just I'd like a minute to introduce you formally. Dr. Chirayu Thakkar is a holistic physician based in Los Angeles. Originally from India, born and educated here, he amalgamates the best of the East and the West, drawing upon 15 years of clinical practice in 4 continents. I believe that is India, Europe, Middle East, and US. To add Chirayuji there, any other continent?
Australia and New Zealand as well. Actually, 5. Okay. The screen is stuck.
Yes. Okay. That's one continent which we hadn't had so much. So we are very glad to have you from the Far East too. He draws great wisdom from ancient sciences of yoga, Ayurveda, TCM, that is traditional Chinese medicine, which includes acupuncture, to address a multitude of physical and non-physical challenges that the modern day presents. His use of evidence-based traditional medicine, hand in hand with conventional medicine, delivers profound results, and his students vouch for that. He provides a platform to make mind-body medicine accessible and understandable using methods best described as educating and empowering. His approach, varying from one-on-one consultations to workshops, courses, and retreats, all seed in lasting positive impact. His positivity certainly is contagious, and I'm sure you'll get to taste this as he starts his session now. So with this brief introduction, I request Chirayuji to kindly lead this interactive session on a very important topic, that is on the subtle details in practice of Yogasana. Because all of us are practicing Yogasana in our own ways. What are the subtle aspects that we need to look into? And especially we'll be focusing on 2 important aspects of asana practice, that is physical movement and being stationary in nature. Again, this can be correlated to what Patanjali says, sthiram and sukham. Sthiram is stability, sukham is the movement, or sukha, comfortable. So this kind of combination of being firm and also being elastic, which the movement and the stationary combined brings in. So he'll be looking into these 2 and allows us to appreciate and understand how a harmonious balance can be brought with the asana practice. So with this brief introduction, I request Chirayuji to lead us over, and I also request all our participants to kindly participate in this interactive session. It has a practice as well as discussions will be followed later. So kindly join us, and also if you have any questions, kindly put it in Q&A box. So with this, over to you, Chirayuji.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is 6:37 in Los Angeles. With a few more minutes, there'll be more light, so you'll be able to see me more clear. But I'd like to start with a little gentle talk first. A quick chat about asana practice. Are we able to see other participants, Vinayji? I guess not. It will be
No.
panelist. Okay, very well. Very well, works for me. Speaker view. Okay, so my background, as Vinayji explained, is medicine, and I get to see people from all walks and talks of life, whether it is a laborer, whether it is a CEO, whether it's an educationist, literally from any background. And what I found is, whenever you are in sync with your body and your mind, everything works. And if that link is missing, it is always a problem. It all comes down to one single word. It is called awareness. If you're aware of your body, say for example, when you talk about physical terms, and if you're aware of your mind, if you can grab your thought instead of your thought leading you somewhere else, if you can be aware, then you can change the game. Awareness is the name of the game. So I want you to start with some awareness practice. Let's just be aware of our body. Very simple. Very simple. Sit wherever you are. This is not going to be challenging for anybody. And yet, even if you're an advanced practitioner, even if you have practiced yoga for years and years, you'll still be able to get something out of this. So very simple. Sit very, very, very comfortably. Feel free to take back rest support. Feel free to be on the floor, on the chair, on the sofa, wherever you are. Just sit in the most comfortable position there is. And just try to become aware of the points of contact between your body and the surface that you're sitting on, whether it's a chair, sofa, bed, floor, yoga mat, rock, wherever you are. Just become aware of the contacts, the points of contacts between your body and the floor. And let those points of contact now carry entire weight of your body, meaning don't let your muscles carry your weight. Let the floor, let the sofa, let the chair carry your weight. So give into the surface that you're sitting on, that you're lying on. For some of us, it's very easy. For some of us, it's a little challenging, not difficult, but a little challenging, because we sometimes, not all the time, sometimes we are unaware of how to let go. Take a deep breath in. Take a look at my shoulders as well. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. You saw how my shoulders went down. Not me, but my shoulders. My shoulders were somewhere here. This was an example of muscles. Like, yeah, I'm sitting fine. I'm sitting quite comfortable. But the moment you draw your attention, you draw your awareness to a certain part of your body, you'll be able to let that body part, let that body area do less work. Likewise, your jaws, both sides of your jaws. Take a long breath in, close your eyes and relax your jaws inside, relax your mouth inside, relax your teeth inside. One more time, take a long breath in, keep your eyes closed. When you exhale, relax your jaws, relax your mouth inside, relax your body inside and around. Relax your body inside and around. Feel free to open your eyes, and this is going to be your homework for the rest of your life. That is, whenever you find yourself, wherever you are, and if you feel uncomfortable there in your head or in your body, just come back to this way of awareness of the body, that wherever you're, no matter what your mind is thinking, even if your mind is about to explode, but still just take a breath, ease your body. The moment you ease your body, you'll notice a shift, not a change, a shift in your mindset as well. So as Vinayji said, Sthiram Sukham Asanam, the classical definition of a yoga pose is Sthiram Sukham Asanam. So given the definition, there are two ways to think about it. Sthiram Sukham Asanam. Sthiram, that which is stable. Sukham, that which is happy or that which gives joy. Is asanam, is a yoga pose, is a pose. So if I'm sitting like this right now, is this position giving me stability? The answer is yes. I'm sitting on a chair, I'm quite stable. Is this giving me joy right now? The answer is yes, I'm quite joyous. When I'm talking with you, I'm sitting quite comfortable in my body. But will this position benefit anything else as well, except just being comfortable in the body? Say if I'm lying down on the floor or if I'm tilted on a sofa, of course that position is very comfortable, it is very stable, but is it beneficial? So the difference between any posture, any pose and a yoga pose is that this is stable, this is joyous, maybe it is more work. Say for example, if we are going to do a downward dog, some of us, it'll be with tight hamstrings, it'll be difficult to be in that pose. But guess what? That pose with time becomes more stable, with time becomes more joyous, and therefore it gives benefits. That is a yoga pose. Otherwise, everything else is just a pose, just a posture. It is not a yoga pose. Yoga, union, that which unites you with yourself. If a certain position with time and practice can bring more awareness inside you and around you, So that brings more union with you and yourself on physical level, on a mental level, and a spiritual level later. So that becomes a yoga posture, that becomes a yoga asana, yogasana, yoga asana. So keeping this idea in your mind, let's try to practice a few things. So when in my clinical practice, I teach yoga both ways, for general health and well-being, fitness, and also for therapeutic uses. So the biggest benefit, biggest gain I've found is when these yoga poses are done with a lot of awareness, which is from the mind. The source of the awareness is the mind, but you have to have techniques in your body. If you have the awareness only in your mind, but not enough techniques, then you will benefit, you'll get them benefit, but it'll take years, literally years, not months, not weeks, not days, it'll take years. But some effort in learning the techniques and some effort in awareness, when you bring the physical and the mental aspect together, your progress, the success and your progress is in leaps and bounds. So say, for example, if you're going to practice Tadasana, for example, right? So please, I would ask you to go ahead and stand on whatever surface you're on, whether it's a yoga mat, whether it's a floor. Very simple. Have your feet together. Your heels are not together, your heels are a little separate. Very simple. Stay as you are. And let your legs remain there. Your arms to your sides. They are not stuck to your body, your arms are to your sides. And from here, lift your arms up in the air, interlock your fingers, and turn your palms up. Very simple. Take a long breath in and let your hands down. So we're going to repeat this one more time. So go ahead and stand wherever you're standing. Inhale, arms go up in the air. Interlock your fingers, turn your palms up, stretch your arms long, and stay here. And release. One more time. So this is not a typical yoga session. This is techniques, how to get in and out of a yoga pose, which can lead to maximum benefit, physical level, mental level, etc. Right? So one more time. So you're standing in Tadasana here, and you're going to, in the next series, in the next variation, you're lifting your arms up in the air. Instead of lifting your arms just simply in the air, you can see my arm very clearly with the light background. From here, take a look at my shoulders as well. Stretch your arms down. Stretch your arms down. Your arms go away from your shoulder. Your arms, not your entire upper body, the right upper body. Your shoulder, your arm, both go away from the central line of your body, And from here, stretch your arms to the outside. Stay here. Especially, you can see this arm very clearly. Go ahead and stretch both arms. Stretch your arm away from your shoulder as much as possible. Stay there. And further with the next breath in, don't just simply lift your arms. Stretch your arms into opposite directions and keep them stretched throughout the entire movement. And stay here. Stay as you are. So you're here. From here, you stretch your arms to the outsides, and you have gone here. And immediately you see, you feel a big difference in how you're lifting your rib cage, how you're lifting your chest, how the scapula is being lifted. Not completely. It's not the shoulder joint. It is only the arm that is going up. You're not lifting your shoulder. Shoulder remains here, but your arm goes up with the help of these extra muscles over here. So not just your arm muscles, but your chest, your torso muscles as well. Arms up in the air. Go ahead and interlock your fingers. Bend your elbows a little, but you're not relaxing your shoulders down. Bend your elbows a little, turn your palms up, and press your elbows straight. Now you're pressing your elbows straight, but you're not lifting your shoulders still. Your shoulders are still pulled down. You see a big gap between my neck and my shoulders. I can see, I cannot see on the screen, but I see the gap between your shoulders and your neck and your jaws. That's what we're looking for. Stay over here, keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. Stretch your arms. No, don't stretch your arms. That's a very wrong use of words. Don't stretch your arms. It's not about the arms. Push your elbows straight. You see, there's a little bend. So here's the thing. We, generally speaking, most people are very confident. In yoga, it is called as overconfidence, meaning if I'm asking you to straighten your elbows again, you're like, yes, of course, my elbows are straight. But awareness, use your awareness, check your elbows, see if you can, one more time, straighten your elbows. In other words, I know your elbows are straight, make them more than straight, straighter than straight, and you'll be able to see it happen. You'll be able to feel it happen. Take a long breath in, stretch your arms away from each other, not just going down. Stretch your arms away from each other, both sides. Take a long breath in. The position of your palm is this. Take a long breath in, stretch your arms towards the floor, towards the floor, towards the floor. Shoulders still pulled down, towards the floor, 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 and relax. Feel free to write your question and answer questions or comments anywhere in the Q&A box. So this is a very simple practice. It's very, very simple, meaning you just lifted your arms up and brought them down. But some people did break a sweat. Some people did start feeling their heart beating. Some people ran out of breath a little, at least a little. Meaning, so earlier we thought when we talked about cardio exercises, we said anything that raises your heartbeat is good for you. It is a good cardio exercise. If you want to lose fat, if you lose weight, yes, of course, work on your food, work on your diet, but also do your cardio. But the nuances in science and research, yeah, someone just replied, I started sweating. Exactly that, exactly that. So details, the magic is in details. So the nuances in science, now we know that it is not about heart rate going up, but it is how soon your heart rate can come down, back to normal. That is a deciding factor in how healthy your heart is. So with time and practice, of course. So time and again, yoga proves to be a very, very healthy physical system, a physical work that benefits the heart, whether it is preventing a heart attack, heart health, or recovering from one if you've already had it. So this is the reason, like, you are not exhausting your body, you're not exhausting your energy, but you're still working the heart, literally just by lifting the arms up, working on details, right? So let's go for some more details. So another component, like especially talking about heart, there are two components. One is, of course, the heart health, the physical work, the heart beating, but the second aspect is breathing. Breathing also is very important for heart health. Feel free to take a seat. And sectional breathing that we talk about in classic, or at least the therapeutic yoga. If you're not aware of sectional breathing, it is very simple. Some people call it box breathing as well. In modern, like in New Age world, sectional breathing is first your breath goes into your tummy. You stay there for a bit, release. Second section is your chest. You take a breath into your chest, stay there for a bit, release. And the third section is your shoulders. You take a breath into your shoulders, stay there, take a break for a few seconds or a moment if you cannot, for a few seconds, and then release, okay? So very simple. Go ahead and put one palm over your abdomen and breathe into your abdomen, maximum breath possible, maximum breath possible. So you're expanding your abdomen like a balloon. Here we go. Inhale. Hold there for a moment. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Exhale. You're pulling your belly in as much as possible. Inhale. Exhale. Section 1. Section 2 is your chest. So go ahead and, so belly expands in and out, but the chest expands in and out, but also out. So from the side view, your belly expands in and out, but the chest expands this way. It goes outside and inside, but at an angle. Your rib cage, the rib cage are tied here, but they're free. Some ribs are free over here. So the rib cage is quite free over here. It has cartilages. So it expands in this fashion. And that's what you're looking for. That's what we're looking for. So go ahead and put one palm over your chest. If you have your collarbones over here, just under your collarbones, say about 1 to 2 inches under your collarbones. Go ahead and take a big breath into your chest. So what are the details over here? When we talk about details in breathing, yeah, it's not just simple in and out. You want to make sure that your posture is correct. The technique, when we talk about that, you do the right way, you'll have the best benefit. So the technique is this. Make sure that when you're breathing into your chest, you're not doing this. It is not your spine. It is not your spine that is expanding the chest. See, right now I'm not breathing, but still, if you look at me from the front, you see my chest is expanding. But no, it's not my chest. I'm arching my back. You look at my back there. It's arching. So we do not want to arch the back. We want to expand. We want to mobilize only the rib cage in the front, not even at the back. We want the ribs to move from the front. So again, from the side, your breathing will look like this. Hold, hold, and exhale. Not the back, only the chest, rib cage. From a side angle. Exhale. So on and so forth. The last part will be the shoulders. How to breathe into the shoulders? No, it's not about it. Shoulder joints are not going to breathe. You're just making space for the lungs, for the apex of the lungs, for the upper segment of the lungs to expand. You're just giving it physical space to open. Of course, it will open only to a physiological limit. It is not going to expand like a crazy balloon. No, it's not going to become a parachute. Of course not. But any space is good. You sit in a Maruti 800, you sit in a Contessa, if you remember Contessa car, or if you sit in an SUV now, space makes the biggest difference there, right? The car, you'll go to the destination, but even just to have mental space, you need that space, physical space, sometimes, not all the time. So shoulders, very simple, using your musculature, using physical effort, very simple. Lift your shoulders up when you breathe in. Here, the detail is, let's do this one more time. Inhale. If you look at me, I went in with my shoulders towards my ears. But instead of going in and compacting the area here, let's go up, not in. Let's go up. Immediately I feel, oh, so much space to breathe. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All right. So details. Detail is not just about, hey, how do I keep my knee in warrior pose? That comes later. Let's start with basics only. The more in control you're of your breath. So when we say pranayama, we find a very common translation of the word pranayama is controlling the breath, or control of the breath. But it's more of a management. How do you manage? How to manage your breath rather than control your breath? It's a very interesting idea found only in yoga. And now of course with new age and new cultures, new civilizations, countries discovering practices of yoga, we have different names and shapes and forms. But but in my knowledge, in my limited, humble knowledge, I believe yoga is the only physical and spiritual culture which talks about breath the way we do. So when we talk about yoga in terms of philosophy and practice, that which is not under our control is not in our control. But that which is not in our control can be brought under our control. That's the magic. So if we do not think about the process of breathing, there's no change. It just happens. It's automatic. We don't have to work on it. It just happens. Of course, your food will affect the way you breathe, your lifestyle, your climate, your temperature, your pollution, etc. But no other culture has thought about this idea that, hey, breathing is automatic, let's make it manual, at least to a certain degree, that I decide how I breathe instead of letting it happen. It's a very, very beautiful idea. And sometimes, not all the time, sometimes when I get to train athletes, in 2008, I was training the Egyptian Olympics team in yoga, meditation, breathing, etc. And it was a great response. So in athletes, especially, I'll give you an example, simple example of weightlifters. So heavy weightlifters, they have very muscular body and great weightlifting capacity and ability. And some of these people, when we were training, different countries, not just Egypt, when they would lift the weights, the way they would breathe and hold the breath, it is very important. The more breath you can hold, the more stability you will have while lifting that something really heavy. So imagine if you're going to travel somewhere and you're lifting a very heavy luggage, a suitcase, you don't just breathe in and out. You hold a breath and then you lift. Yeah, that breath gives so much stability, because all this area, there are ribs here protecting, but they're loose over here. There's nothing over here. It's all fat and flab. There's only one structure which is stable, which is the spine. So to give this area stability, what you do, natural instinct is you take a breath in, hold your body tight, everything becomes very stable, and then you can lift whatever weight you want. And this, if you can increase the capacity of your breath, the volume of your breath, and the length you can hold your breath comfortably without straining your systems, then this can help you a lot with whatever sport or natural daily life that you're living, right? Okay, so one last thing about breathing. Of course, the sectional breathing, yes, but forget sectional breathing. Let's just breathe, okay? Take a long breath in. So when we say take a long breath in, the most natural response or most natural reaction is this. You take a long breath in. Again, listen to this, okay? Listen to this very clearly. You heard the inhalation. You heard my inhalation. You heard your inhalation. You're someone sitting next to you heard your inhalation as well. Because that happened from the nose. Again, hear this, take a look at my nose, all right? I was using some nasal muscles as well, it contracted. And this is a wrong method of breathing. You do not want to breathe in deep or take a long breath in. You do not want to do this. Again, take a look at I won't call it wrong. It's not wrong, but it's not the best way of doing it. Okay, take a look at it again. Take a look at it again. Listen to it again. See what happened. Look at my body. Look at the details. Okay. So the moment I was starting to breathe in, my nose contracted. Some people nose is more mobile, some people nose is less mobile. Okay, so some people, when they breathe in, the nose, you can't see anything. The nose remains as is. I have a flexible nose over here. So when I breathe in, it contracted, right? So imagine you're taking a long breath in, you want to take the biggest breath ever, but your nasal passage is squeezed. So how are you going to take the biggest, longest breath with things being squeezed, your nasal passage being squeezed? No, you do not want that. You want them to remain open. Okay? Makes sense, right? Makes sense. Makes total sense. Like, yeah, now it makes sense. Yeah, I have no idea why I did not think about this earlier. Yeah, because of awareness, right? Awareness, or it was not just the time. All right, one more time. Take a look at this. There's something else happening. So this is only the nasal passage we are talking about. Okay, only this much. But there's something else happening underneath. Take a look at this. Wrong, not so wrong. Not the best technique of deep breath. Okay, take a look at this. This is a very normal reaction that I see. That people start lifting their lungs. Okay, to lift your chest, not lungs. They're like, you want to lift your lungs to expand them. But what is happening is you're not lifting your lungs, you're lifting your chest. And to do that, you've already contracted muscles over here. Give it a try. One more time. Give it a try on your own, at your own pace. No, the moment you do this, you're arching your back from behind, you're contracting your chest muscles. It is not going to help you to take maximum breath. Chest muscle contraction is needed to take big breaths. It's science that is given. But this way, deep breathing without awareness, no, doesn't work. It doesn't work. Instead, what works is this. Be relaxed and take a long breath in. How do you do that? Very simple. Take a seat, either leaning back or upright. Upright is better, but if you cannot sit upright, feel free to lean back, totally fine. And take a long breath in. So much more effortless. There is effort, but there's no strain. It's effortless that way. All right, take a look at it from the side. Until I start talking, or until you hear me exhaling, literally I'm still inhaling. And trust me, you can do the same. You can do better. You've been practicing yoga for some time. Great, well done. You will be able to do this better. Take a look at this again. Practice with me. Go for details. And also there is a mental talk. Okay, very important. Okay, let's talk about the mental talk in the third breath. This is the second breath. Here we go. Start breathing in now. One more time. So the mental talk is this, all right? Very interesting. I love the mental talk. Even in my head, I love it. So what happens is, you saw something, like, you saw me breathing, and you start breathing this way, and you're breathing. You've reached your usual capacity, and you're like, okay, I'm done. I cannot breathe anymore. And that's the mental talk, okay? So when you talk about details, when you talk about inhibitions that we have, it is in the head also. You want to talk about details in the head as well. So you feel full, you feel complete over here, and then you're like, okay, I cannot breathe anymore. No, I cannot. But the reason you cannot breathe anymore is because you haven't tried more. Let's try this. Inhale. Say you've reached your capacity. Don't stop. Breathe in. Breathe in a little more. Breathe in a little more. Again, breathe in a little more. 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 Little more. Little more. And exhale. One last time, okay? One last time, meaning this is your last chance at it. Imagine this is, of course, I want you to live forever, but Imagine, okay? Like be unlimited in your head, meaning imagine this is your last breath ever. This is the last time you're breathing in. Okay, you can breathe out forever, fine. But breathing in, this is your last inhalation, should be the longest. The moment you contract your shoulders, no, it's not going to work. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaws, relax your mouth, relax your chest, and let's start breathing in. You're done, but no, there's still some space. Breathe in. There's still some space left. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Little more. Tiny bit more. And breathe out. Well done. Excellent, excellent. So sometimes we want to surprise ourselves with our own techniques and practice. You know, it's possible. It is possible. The moment you work on thoughts, someone just said a word, revelatory. Yeah, it reveals. Yeah. The more you spend time with it without inhibitions, it works. Okay, anyway. So we are almost past the first part, and like the description said, the second part is about holding the poses, okay? So like we did our Tadasana practice, holding is in two ways. One is actually three ways. We'll keep it three for today's session, okay? One is assisted by gravity, meaning, so, and also, let me tell you this. This is one philosophy that I've believed in, and it has helped me over the years, since my teenage years. There's no good way of doing things. There's no bad way of doing things, but there's always a better way of doing things. Okay, so we are always looking for this better way of doing things. When I first came to US, with whatever, I studied at SDM, Ujre, SDM College of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences. So a very tradition rooted and also related to SVyasa. So the training was very medical, very traditional, so on and so forth. And when I came to US first, I did struggle. Okay, hey, listen, this is not how you practice yoga. Not judgmental, not being judgmental. Okay, hey, listen, this is new to me. This is not how you practice, or this is how not I was taught yoga. This is not how I have seen yoga practice in India. But hey, here I am. Let me give it a try. And that was a very positive step that my head took. That my spirit said, okay, you know what? Yes, go ahead with it. And that has helped me a lot. So exactly the same mindset over here as well. You don't have to stick to my words. You can be creative. You can have your own way of tackling situation, poses, and techniques. No matter what kind of Tadasana you do, whether it is this, whether it is this, whether it is this, whatever kind and type, all are fine. All work the same. They are okay, right? So there's no good or bad, but there's always a better way of doing things, okay? So holding the poses. So there are three. In today's session, we can explore three ways of holding. Say, for example, arm goes up in the air and you're not doing anything. You are just letting your arm remain. You're not talking about your elbow being straight or bent. You're leaving it as is. This is assisted by gravity, meaning the gravitational pull is going across your arm, your leg, and into the floor, right? So this is assisted. And then you're going a little against gravity, meaning from here, you are putting some effort to go against gravity. You saw my shoulder lift against gravity. Stay there. Second, so assisted gravity, against gravity. And the third is where you use your muscle. You forget gravity, it will work its job. You don't have to worry about gravity. It'll still work its job, whether we think about it or not. But what you want to be aware of, or what you want to be busy with, is how you engage your musculature, how you're using your body, your different body parts, right? So a simple example would be, let's take the same Tadasana example. You can remain seated if you wish. You can remain standing if you wish. Just for comfort of explanation and to give you details, I'll remain closer to the screen. So your arm is here to your sides, okay? Both arms, but I'm just using my one arm so that I can use my pointer finger to explain the other arm. So stay as you are. And instead of keeping your arm lazy over here, no, you're not just holding your arm over here, we are using the third technique, okay? Using your musculature, you're using the awareness of the body. So stay as you are and start engaging muscles inside. So imagine this. This imagination is very important. Imagine that your muscles, they want to hug your bone inside. Imagine your muscles, they want to hug your bone inside. So instead of just hanging your hand over here, start tightening your fingers, they come together. Tighten muscles of your arms, both arms. Squeeze your muscles in. Your biceps, your triceps, they are grabbing the bone inside as much as possible, as much as possible. So if I have to do this with you, imagine I'm standing, but still with you. Stay here and start tightening your body. Tighten your body so hard, so hard, so much. Even your chest muscles are being engaged. And hold here. Keep breathing, hold here. Keep breathing, hold here. If someone comes and pushes my arm down, no, my arm is unable, unable to unable to move. This person next to me is not able to move my arm at all. So go ahead and contract your arms as much as possible. Not little, not much, as much as possible. Tighten arms, tighten arms, tighten arms, and hold. Keep breathing and hold. Keep breathing. Hold your arms there, and start breathing using your chest, not your abdomen. Your abdominal wall is engaging a little. Your abdominal wall is engaging a little. Pull the abdomen in a little. Pull the abdomen in a little, not a lot, just a little. Your chest, naturally, you'll find your chest expands naturally, a little. It'll expand naturally a little. And use your chest to breathe in. Breathe out. Start to take longer and bigger breaths in, longer and bigger breaths out. Your arms are still engaging. Your bones are still being loved by your muscles. Your muscles are loving and hugging your bones inside. For 5 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2. Take a long breath in. Relax your arms, relax your muscles, relax your chest, relax your body. And see, do you feel any difference in your arms? Do your arms feel any different compared to before? The most common replies that we get is, oh, my arms feel lighter, my arms feel longer. I had this ache pain that just disappeared. I'm not sure what happened. These are very common responses. Uncommon responses, I feel nothing. If you feel nothing, don't worry, it is fine. Somebody said energized, very good, excellent. So imagine this. This is the beauty of yoga. So when we were talking about heart health, yoga for heart health. So imagine this, you're using your muscles, you are tightening your muscles, meaning they're working. But just after they worked a lot, meaning after a good hold, say if you're a gym or CrossFit person, you will not feel that this is not much. But someone who needs a therapeutic side of yoga, it's a lot for them. So of course there are different levels of this much, right? Imagine this, you just experienced it. You used a lot of your muscle work, but the end result was you felt lighter, you felt relaxed, you felt more energized. How is this possible? Yeah, this is the magic of practicing yoga with a lot of awareness and the right technique. If you do not have the right technique, then you'll take longer time to get the benefit. There's no right or wrong way of doing things. There's always a better way of doing things. Better is with the right technique. What is better? Right technique is better. Okay. Okay, give me one moment. Anuradha ji sent me a message. No, she just tagged me in a post. Okay, very good. So the final part of the practice of yoga, again, the second half, that is about hold. I want you to try this hold, okay? So very simple, it's a very fun practice. I love it. And some of my students, initially they find it very challenging, students and patients both, but the more they do this practice, the more they love it, they enjoy it. Like the end result is very different, okay? So very simple. Whether it's a yoga mat, whether it's a sofa, whether it's a bed, anything, or it's plain simple floor. If you do not have access to sofa, yoga mat, see, listen, yoga when it 10,000 years back, 5,000 years back, there were no yoga mats, okay? So there was, of course, you have to pay respect to the system. So always do it on a mat, on a surface, not directly on the floor. But for the time being, if you do not have that tool available at your disposal, it's okay. Just be on the floor. It's all right. Okay. Yes. Go ahead and lie down on your back. Very simple. Your right leg, lift your right leg off the floor and stay here. Lift your right leg off the floor by, say, about 6 inches, half a foot. I have come closer to the screen so that I can tell you more details, but you looked at my position, lying down on the floor. Your head, neck are nice and straight, long. Your shoulders are relaxed. Your arms are relaxed. Your left leg is relaxed. Your right leg is 6 inches off the floor. And your right leg is a little engaged. A little engaged. What is little engaged? Your thigh muscles, your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your calf muscles, the ankle joint muscles around there, they are trying to hug your bones. They are not really hugging your bones, but they are definitely trying to hug the bone from both sides, from all 4 sides actually, not just both. All right? So stay as you are in the hold and hold and hold and hold. If you have doubts, take a look at my position one more time. So you're lying on the floor, body's relaxed, your leg is 6 inches off the floor and a little engaged. What does that mean? A little engaged. You're not lazy. Your leg is not lazy over here. It is a little engaged. Your knee is not 100% straight, a little straight. Foot is not lazy, foot is a little flexed, and stay. And close your eyes. Go ahead and close your eyes. Stay there with your leg 6 inches, 8 inches, 4 inches off the floor. Leg muscles are little engaged, meaning they are working a little, not a lot, a little. Eyes are closed. Your breathing is quite relaxed. And by now, the mental talk has already started. So how long am I supposed to hold? Because in my yoga classes, or the way I teach my classes, or the way I learned at SVyasa, or the way I learned at Ujjayi, or the way I learned at my studio in London, wherever, the count is always 30 seconds. But there's no mention of the count because there is no count. So just stay there. Of course, if you're in pain, you stop. But if you're bored, you don't stop. If you're bored, don't stop. Hang in there, a few more seconds. If you have a medical condition, if you're in pain, of course, you don't force yourself. Challenge yourself, but don't force yourself. Everybody else, go ahead and engage your leg muscles a little more. So tightening, you're not straightening your leg. You're not looking for that straight leg, perfect, like on these yoga magazines. No, you're not looking for that. You're looking for engagement. Your muscles should be working a little more than they were a few seconds back. And see if it has changed the way you breathe. Has it changed the way you breathe? If yes, try to bring your breathing back to normal or usual or as easy. What is normal? Easy is normal, okay? Easy. Because your normal is very different from my normal, but our easy can be the same, that yes, I can breathe easily. And by now, some people are still thinking like, okay, so how long am I supposed to hold this? Trust me, I cannot see you, but I trust you. Please hold. Few more seconds to go, just a few more seconds. Just hang in there. Your other leg is relaxed. Your right leg is a tiny bit more engaged now, little more than before. Your muscles are becoming more active. They are hugging the bone inside. And we start the count. 5, 4, 3, 2, and very gently, very softly, bring your leg to the floor. Land your leg to the floor and relax. Feel free to keep your eyes closed or open. Your choice. But keep the eyes of your mind, your mental awareness. Think about the awareness and use it, meaning try to see if there's any difference between your right leg before and after the hold, and see if you find any difference between the right leg and the left leg. When you started, the right leg was exactly like the left leg, feeling almost the same, if not the same. But now you might find some difference or differences. You can tell me later which leg is lighter, which leg is heavier, which is relaxed, which is not relaxed. We can talk about this later, okay? So for now, let's do the same thing on the left side. So if you have doubts, take a look at me. If you're already an expert on the right side, you can be expert on the left side as well, okay? So feel free to take a look at me or just listen to my voice and start practicing. Lie down on your back, very relaxed. Left leg, lift your left leg just off the floor, 6 inches, and stay there. Stay as you are. Keep breathing the same meaning easy. Don't make effort to breathe big or thick or huge or count your breath. No, just breathe. Don't think about, hey, because I'm doing a yoga pose, I have to breathe big and deep and long. No. Don't. Let's not think. Let's think only of the left leg and hugging your bones inside, your femur, your tibia, your tibia, your fibula with your muscles. Okay? And the mental talk about a count is not going to help. So don't even go there for today, for now, for these 2-3 minutes. There is no count. You're used to a certain way of count, whether it is mantra, whether it is counting, whether it is counting breaths. No, nothing for today, for now. And by now, you might have already noticed that the leg is starting to shiver or starting to shake, if not shiver. Shiver is not the right word, but shake. You feel the leg muscles being vibrating a little for some of us, or some of it like very stable. So let's try to engage your muscles a little more than before. Go ahead and engage your muscles a little more than before. Your bone inside is loving this. Your bone inside is loving the affection it is getting right now from the muscles. And hang in there. Few seconds, okay? Few seconds. And of course, likewise, like we said on the right side, if you have a medical issue, if your lower back is not happy, feel free to bend your knee. If your lower back is not happy, feel free to bring your leg to the floor. But if you feel safe enough, then don't drop your leg down. Challenge yourself a few more seconds. Okay, this is the last part. Go ahead and tighten your leg muscles a little more, not to the maximum. We are not looking for maximum work. We are looking for maximum hold, not work. If you start working maximum, your hold will not be maximum. You'll exhaust yourself. You're not looking for maximum work. You're looking for long or longer or longest hold, which is comfortable, that you can hold. You don't want to punish yourself while practicing yoga. That happens, I see that all across the globe. Especially the imported yoga, especially when it comes from the fitness side, there's a lot of exhaustion and you overwork rather than work. Time to start the count, okay? We'll start the count, but you're still aware of your leg. And 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Let your leg down, release, relax your leg, let yourself be. Let yourself be. And when you think that, okay, I am good, I've had enough of a rest, feel free to turn to your side and take a seat, and we rise. And this will be the end of our practice and the detail and etc. session. Now I would invite Vinayji to come back in and we can have a chat. Thank you very much, all of you. Great practice.
Thank you, Chirayuji, for this brilliant session, I must say. You took us through the practices that most of us are already familiar with, but just the attention to the details, I think that makes a world of difference. Thank you very much. And also you were pushing us beyond our comfort zones, and you did it in a very beautiful manner, in a very endearing manner, I must say, so that even though we are being pushed out, we were not bothered by it. We embraced it in a very affectionate manner, I think. So thank you very much.
Of course, of course, of course.
So we definitely have a long list of questions that are coming up.
Please.
Yeah. So maybe I'll start with this one question, especially we have many senior people who are joining us.
Okay.
On these sessions. So there are a few questions, but this one I think is a common question that we often come across. For beginners, holding a position with some muscle engagement often results in some kind of tremor quite early. How does one cope up with this and lengthen the duration of the hold in a systematic manner? Right.
So again, talking about medical terms, there's a small little receptor in our muscle. It is called the Golgi tendon receptor. That's the name of the receptor, Golgi tendon receptor. So this Golgi tendon receptor, it's a very brilliant. The job is very brilliant. It always saves you from injury. It saves you. It is a very life-preserving receptor. Its function. So here's what happens. Okay, so imagine you're trying to say, for example, if I'm trying to stretch my muscles over here, to stretch these muscles, my forearm muscles under here, I have to pull my fingers back. Okay, so when I pull my fingers back, it stretches these muscles. But when these muscles, they start to overstretch, so the muscles, they become tendon. You see this? This is a tendon.
Yes.
Somewhere at the muscle and the tendon junction, somewhere here, you have these. They're microscopic. They're very cellular. So these receptors, they start sensing that, hey, listen, I'm being overstretched. And when that happens, it sends a signal to the brain, and the brain sends a signal to the muscle, okay, hey, listen, you're being overstretched, contract. So this muscle, it contracts. So you're trying to stretch, but the muscle contracts. You're trying to stretch, but the muscle contracts. So this is the shaking. Okay.
True. Yeah.
So here's what you have to do when you start, when the shaking happens. First and foremost, be brave. Don't worry about it. You're not going to hurt yourself, especially someone with, say, if you're doing a hamstring stretch, it'll be literally like somebody is handing a machine gun for some people, but the hamstrings are so strong that literally the frequency is like this, and the amplitude can be literally like this big. The leg can shake like this big. It's very normal. Don't worry about it. So here's what you do. So whenever this shaking thing starts kicking in, breathe, exhale. Make sure that your shoulders are relaxed, your chest is relaxed, and imagine, send your awareness from the head, from the lungs to these muscles, and let these muscles relax. And when you will find a big difference. The moment you shift your awareness from this ache and pain and suffering and this, hey, am I hurting myself, to trusting, and let that shift to the muscle that you're stretching, whatever part of the body, you will notice that you'll be shaking lesser and lesser and lesser with time. And again, nothing happens without time and practice. The more you stretch, the more you practice to stretch, the more does not mean the strongest stretch. More means more times of the week. Instead of twice a week, you're doing it 7 days a week. Okay. Within 2 weeks, the shaking will be almost gone, or the shaking will start. Right now, the shaking starts over here. A week later, the shaking will start over here, and another 2 weeks later, it'll start over here. So the shaking is a very normal, protective process of the body. Be brave. Don't worry about it.
I think that was a very helpful guideline and a reassuring guideline, I must say, for many people who have joined us, because all of us get through this question at some point of time. Am I doing it right? And as you also pointed out, the mental chattering, I think it's a very big challenge when we are going through these practices. So bringing the awareness back and being courageous enough and to do it regularly. Again, this shift our focus to what Patanjali says in the Yoga Sutra, Satu Dirghakala Nairantarya Satkara Sevitaha. Dirghakala, the long term, Nairantarya, consistency, and Satkara Sevitaha, done with intense goodwill.
Right.
Yeah, thank you for highlighting that. I'm continuing this questions on the line of holding, because that was one important point that we touched upon. This is by Ahmad, who's asking the third type of holding where the muscles are more engaged and hugging the bones. I think that was a very beautiful expression that you used, hugging the bones.
We love, humans love, we know how to love. True. So when that idea of love, instead of just being an abstract form, when you bring it to the awareness of the body, it works.
I'm sure many of our participants at the moment are feeling like giving you a tight hug at the moment.
Of course, I'm ready. I'm ready. With Corona, without Corona, I'm ready for hugs.
So the question is, should we aim for that with all hold positions? So whenever we take the hold positions, the third type of holding that you are suggesting, do we need to take that?
No. Say, for example, if I'm doing a headstand, Shirshasana, and if I'm going to hold my muscle and hug my body, no, that is not going to work. Because there you want to have that linear, the first kind, where you want the gravity to work for you. You want gravity to carry your weight, not your muscles. So no, it doesn't work for every position. It works in certain positions. Say for example, if you're doing Tula Dandasana is, of course, different schools have different names of yoga poses. So the one I'm talking about is, say you're here and you're here, you're talking about this one here. So in certain positions, you'll have to use all three or two or one. So it depends on the position. It depends on the purpose more than the position. It depends on the purpose, what you're looking for. If you're looking at fitness, then your hold is the third type. If you're looking for stability, then it's the first type. If you're looking for daily life, then it's the second type. But also there's a mix and match of all three.
So
I
again,
hope
like
it
one
answers.
needs to be very clear as to what end one is looking at.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
So continuing the same strain of thought, I come to Veronica G's question, who is a very regular participant who is joining us from Canada. She
Okay.
asks, thank you, Dr. Thakkar, fantastic insight. Question is, every time you said engage muscles of leg, I did it by activating foot or reflexing it. Is this what has to be done to get the muscle active when holding?
The more you practice, the more your muscle will change. Okay, the more you, let me put it this way, the more you practice, your command to your muscles will change, and your muscles will listen to you differently every time. So right now, when you hear the word engage, your brain sends a message to the leg, more particularly to your foot, to Veronica G's foot. For somebody else, it might be thigh. So right now, the connection between her brain and her foot is very strong. Her foot
Mm,
listens to her brain faster than her thigh or her calf listens to her brain.
mm,
And this will change. Give it some more time. Even if you practice this exercise, yoga pose, exercise, whatever name you want to give it, most welcome. It is all yours. If you practice this for a few more days, you will notice that the way your leg listens to you will be different every time,
mm,
every few days. So there's no good or bad way of doing this. There's no right or wrong. There's always a better. So you keep getting better naturally at it. You will discover.
mm. Thank you. But there are also some questions regarding the pain that is accompanied with this holding. So we have Forum Trivedi ji who is saying it is aching, especially when you had asked them to hold. And also continuing that same line, we have Ritu Chaku ji, who is a very good friend from the Vyasa family and is from Delhi. She's asking, leg was like a rock coming down. So when you asked us to bring it down, it was feeling like a rock.
Mhm.
So
How
yeah,
did it,
yes,
sorry,
please.
go ahead. Finish your
No,
question, please. Sorry.
your comments on that and suggestions.
So there are, um, of course, we'll have to look at each person differently. But if I think about it, like if I imagine what the practice was for that person, so here's what would have happened.
Hmm.
When the leg muscles, especially the quadriceps here in the hold that we just did, the quadriceps work a good amount, not a lot, a good amount, and
Hmm.
you're working against gravity. So if the muscles are not strong enough, I'm not saying they're not strong, if they're not strong enough for such a long hold, and especially if your muscles are not used to such a long hold, you will feel the load much more than usual. Number one. Number two, the longer you hold, the more gravity starts working on you. If
Okay.
I'm here, if my hand is here, I'm fine. The moment my hand goes away from me, the
Hmm.
gravity has this much surface area to pull down, meaning my deltoid muscle over here, or in our example, the quadriceps, the front of the thigh, has to work double, triple, it exponentially. You know, it starts working exponentially. So in essence, what you're doing is your two things are working. One, you're working against gravity, which is a lot of work, and also you're carrying the weight of your own leg. So of course you become so much more heavier, and that feels like a rock. But the moment you come down, it feels okay, and you feel more relaxed, you feel more light in a leg. Again, this goes back the same thing like you said about Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Time and practice, time and practice, time and
Hmm.
practice. Within no time, your leg, same practice becomes easier, becomes
Sure.
lighter.
But is there a better way of doing it? As you said, like there's no
Yes,
wrong way or right way, but there is a better way of doing it, and you would like to demonstrate it for all our participants quickly?
very simple. If these are my two legs,
Yeah.
my right leg is going up, I'm here, my legs are shaking, or if I start aching, bring the leg down.
Okay.
The other leg, bring the leg down. The other leg, bring the leg down. The other leg, bring the leg down. Don't do it up, down, up, down. No. Hold for as long as you can in your limit, in your capacity, and then
Hmm.
bring it down. Very simple. Don't go for long holds then. See, this was just an experience, what we did. This is not written in stone. This is not a standard yoga procedure. This is a variation. This is something to learn a technique, a different way of doing it. But you don't have to go for long holds. You can have short holds multiple times, and with time you increase the holds.
Because that is one of the questions that many people would like to know. Like, where do they get to know about these practices? Like, is there a book? Is there some place where they can follow? Because they felt it to be very beneficial, the way
Right.
you took us through.
Right. So to be honest, okay, so I graduated, and my first job, thanks to my senior, he might be here with us right now, Dr. Anand Bhatt, he's in Australia right now. Thanks to him, my first job was in Libya, in Tripoli. And then my second job was in Egypt. This is 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10. And over there, I had no resources. Back then, internet was dial-up. There was no resource. I didn't carry my books over there. So whatever techniques that I'm using, that I'm speaking of right now, this is more of self-experiment and self-journey. I do not want to talk business, or I do not want to promote myself, but FYI, if it can benefit someone, then sure. Very soon I'll be starting my online classes. We'll be talking about these techniques, but I doubt you'll be finding these techniques in book. I'm sure there are many people like me, so much better than me. Maybe you are one of them. Maybe the listeners, audience, they've already had these experiences. But if you talk about what the way I teach, I'll be teaching online classes soon. So I hope
Chirayu, that is one of our most important questions, to which we'll come to shortly, because we want to connect all our participants to the teachers, because here is a platform where we have teachers who are authentic, who bring in authenticity in whatever they are doing, whatever they are teaching, and also takes us through an immersive and a transformative experiences. So we want to connect the teachers to all our participants. So we definitely like to hear a little more about by when you are going to offer, how are you going to offer, how can they follow it up. Before that, just a couple of more questions. So we looked into a few questions regarding to the posture itself and the positioning, holding and all. There are a few questions related to breath. So moving from the Annamaya to Pranamaya, because you initially started with breathing practices. So the question is especially about this is from Girish Ji, who is asking, during long breath does it go into the abdomen? Like you were mentioning about, there's a possibility of extending in that part, while this part, the rib cage is fixed. There's only one way of extension. So what exactly happens in abdominal breathing, and why is it important?
There is a muscle which is shaped like this. It is called diaphragm. So when you start breathing and expanding the abdomen, you consciously push the abdomen out. What happens is you're just creating, when the abdomen goes out, you're just creating more space for this muscle to go down. When this muscle goes down, the lungs, both lungs, they just have more space to expand downward. That's all there is happening. So you're just, instead of sitting in Maruti 800, you're sitting in Ambassador. That's what you're doing. You're shifting Maruti 800. If you do not know Maruti 800, for a lot of our international audience, it's a very small car. That was the highest selling car in India 20 years back. A very, very small, tiny car. And Ambassador is a different, bigger car. So you're just shifting your lungs from the small space, you're creating a big space, just downward. This diaphragm, if you just Google diaphragmatic breathing or movement of diaphragm on YouTube, you'll find 1,000 videos. Very simple to understand.
True. So you have also answered Sridhar Koluruji's question, who had asked which one is more advantageous, the stomach breathing or the chest breathing, and also generally, especially for physical and mental health. You want to add anything to that?
Stomach, chest, and shoulder, all these breathing are fantastic techniques to train your breathing apparatus, you train your breathing system to breathe longer, bigger, deeper. But to answer specifically to your question, like what works the best or what, in my opinion, works great, is not the sectional. Sectional is to train. Sectional breathing is exercise. It's training to breathe better. The third, where you are totally relaxed, but you're using full nose, full nasal passage, and breathing big, long, very soft, where when you're breathing that way, your neighbor doesn't even realize that you're breathing long and deep. There's no noise, there's no commotion, there's only breath. That's the best way for mental and physical benefit.
Okay. So thank you, especially that bringing our attention into what happens physiologically at the nose. Like it goes unnoticed, and many would not have thought because the whole focus is on the chest and playing around with it. This is something that is taken for granted. And
Exactly.
thank you very much for bringing it into our attention. So
Sure.
continuing with the breath, we have question from Ramkrishnan Sitaramanji, again a very regular participant with all his encouraging words and thought-provoking questions, who is asking, what doesn't seem to come out clearly about the breathing in exercise is the rate at which you need to breathe. Is there a thumb rule by which you don't breathe in too quickly and stop too soon?
So the best answer for this question is a pranayama called Ujjayi. If you breathe in, out, fine, great. But if you breathe in and out from your throat, using your throat, a little constriction at your throat, Ujjayi breathing, that is the best way to breathe when you're moving, when you're exercising, when you're practicing yoga, because when you start using Ujjayi breath, when you do your physical movement and exercise and physical culture, anything related to physical culture, the best part is you are free in your head, meaning Ujjayi is such a beautiful pranayama, such a beautiful breathing technique that it takes care of the count. You don't have to worry about the count. It will auto-regulate itself with your movement. Your body will just naturally, with its own intelligence, know when to breathe, when not to breathe, when to hold, when not to hold, and the length of each breath. So I would highly recommend learning Ujjayi properly and then using it more often while doing your yoga practice, because sometimes we are so busy in contracting the muscle that we forget to breathe in Ujjayi. I hope this answers.
Sure. So I'll also take up a connected question by Pooja Jayant, a very good friend from both SVASA and STM. I think you know her well. She's asking, what about how much to breathe out?
So the breathing techniques that we learned today were more in relation with yoga poses. The topic in my head was yogasana, and breathing. So that's why we talked about this inhalation, exhalation relation. So in getting prepared for movement and for holding yoga poses. This question would be more answered in a pranayama session. About breathing out. So pranayam, when you talk about pranayam and how we manage the breath, and where the principal topic is only the breath, where you're using breath, whether it is to initiate a kundalini movement initiation, whether it's for mental relaxation, for activation, not just relaxation. So that is a different topic. So breath will be covered very, very differently when we talk about pranayam. It is not. So today's session was not about how the count of exhalations. No, it was not about that.
So we'll definitely have you once again on a forum for pranayama.
Of course. Someone just
Okay.
asked, Brother Kadamji just asked, yeah.
So we have a question and also a request for a tip from Ramnathanji, is again a regular participant. He's asking, one of the problems I face is that elbows are never straight. That the first practice that you took us through. Even after I interlace both palms and turn them out like you do. So how do you go about it? And also in Tadasana, are bandhas spontaneously engaged, especially Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha.
So in my practice of 15 plus years, I'll be very honest, very frank, I have not used bandhas much.
Okay.
They are great, but again, in my humble, limited opinion, bandhas go great with pranayama, with energetics of the yoga system. I have stuck very dearly to the physical system, of course, energetic when it's needed. But in a session like this, I would not talk about bandhas. I would talk about bandhas only when we talk about pranayama and practice bandhas in relation to energetics, pranamaya kosha, not annamaya kosha. Once that is covered, once you're practiced enough, then we bring that to asana.
Okay. So since we are speaking about the asanas, yes.
So I did not answer about the elbows. So 2001, when I went to SDM, some of my seniors and some of my classmates, they thought I'm too snobby because if you look at me, if you look at my elbows, my arms are always away from my body. They are never here. They're never by the side. They're always away. Even if you look at from the side, you see my elbows always bent.
True.
So this is much better than before, but back then, 2020 years back, my arms were here like this. As a teenager, I just did a lot of exercises and my biceps, they were just developed and tight. So when bicep is tight, when your bicep muscle is tight, see this muscle, the tendon goes into your forearm across the elbow. So this is the elbow crease, the tendon goes into this area somewhere here. And when this happens, when you have tight biceps, naturally your elbow will always remain bent. So now it is straight because I'm pushing my elbow straight. So the person who asked the question, highly likely that the biceps are very tight, and that's why elbow is always bent. So this is one reason. I will have to see the person to comment exactly, but this is a very common reason that I find why elbow is not straight, because of tight bicep muscle. And the best yoga pose to stretch bicep muscle is locust pose, Shalabhasana. Shalabhasana.
Okay, Shalabhasana.
Shalabhasana, but not like this, where your palms are not facing your thighs, your palms are facing the floor, because then it stretches, when it straightens the elbow joint and it stretches the bicep muscle. So Shalabhasana would be the best yoga pose to, with time, keep stretching your bicep muscle, and that will allow you to straighten your elbows.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And since we are discussing about the asanas, especially we have a question from Forum Trivedi ji, who is asking what asanas to do and what details to take care of when the periods, during the time of the periods are near, and especially when lower abdomen is aching. You want to share some light on that?
So a rule of thumb is when you have your periods, you do not do inverted poses. Inverted meaning wherever the female genital organs are above the heart, or in my humble opinion, above the abdomen as well, you do not want backflow of the blood. You do not want backflow of the blood. Now, again, so this is my practical observation, and that's where I'm speaking from. This does not go for everybody. Some women who have a heavy flow, they bleed a lot. For them, definitely do not do inversions, because you just have a large quantity of blood able to get into that backflow. But for example, if someone who has scanty blood flow, or you're in, like, the second day you have the heaviest, but by third, fourth day, you have scanty blood flow, you're spotting, feel free to get into inversions. It is okay, in my humble opinion. But if you do not agree with me, you don't have to. It's okay. But this is what I've seen in my practice, that yes, it is possible, but it depends on the blood flow, the quantity and the time of the period. And especially when you talk about pain. Something simple you can try. I won't say that it'll work 100%, because again, this is we have 136 people right now. It's a very general topic. I'll have to see this person to really work or comment on it.
Sure.
But something common that you can try is take something heavy, like a heavy blanket, double, triple, quadruple folded, or say a towel with some heavy weight inside, a flat heavy weight inside, or even a hot water bottle, but not hot water. Just fill it with regular water, make it heavy. and you can place it on the lower abdomen, just above the pubic bone, just above the pubic bone. Leave it there for 5, 10, 15 minutes. And I've noticed, especially, I practice a lot of acupuncture. And in times where the patient is distant from me, I suggest this, applying some gentle pressure just above the pubic bone, that area, energetically. So when we talk about acupuncture meridians, we use those points to calm the pain related to female health. So you can definitely try that.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Though there's no direct connection, but we are speaking about abdominal pain, I just move on to a question related to abdomen and abdominal breathing. Again from Ramakrishnan ji, who says, can prolonged abdominal breathing practice lead to distension of the abdomen?
No, the answer is plain simple no, because it's not just, you're not just distending, you're also, when you breathe out, you're also pulling the abdomen in. So there's a squeezing effort. So if we use that logic, maybe with prolonged breathing in and out, when you pull in, you might have 6 packs. Why just distended stomach? So let's think both ways. You can have 6 packs by doing this breathing exercise, abdominal exercise. So no, that it doesn't work that way. No, you will not have a distended abdomen, but you'll have very good lung capacity to breathe. That's for sure.
Thank you for that. I'll just take 2 more questions and then we'll bring it to a closure. This is from Dominic Cotto, a good friend from Paris, who's asking, this is about raising the leg and holding it. So I know, like, I know I need to hold it. There's also pain. But how do I tell my mind, or how do I convince my mind to hold it longer?
So I get this a lot in my sessions as well. So very simple idea is, Dominic, is you keep your leg in the air for as long as you can. And when you're like, okay, fine, I'm done. And your leg comes down, and I promise you, Dominic, I promise you, immediately you'll feel really bad. Like, no, I could have stayed longer. Why did I go down? So when that thought happens, you go up again, or you make sure that you do not want to feel that way. You do not want to feel like, hey, listen, I could have done better, but I did not. No, you do not want to go there. Initially, you will have these thoughts, but you do not want to go, of course, but you want to keep safe, okay? So in any position, any movement, stretch, hold, etc. So there is comfort zone, where you can be very comfortable, where you can hold very comfortably for 5 minutes, no problem, I can do that. But then there is the challenge zone. And challenge, I'm 50-50. I'm not sure I can stay there, but I want to go down, but I'm done, I'm bored, or hey, I'm not ready for this. The mental talk. Maybe you are not, maybe you are. We don't know. It's a 50-50 zone. So there's this comfort zone, there's this challenge zone, and then comes the safe zone. You want to play in the challenge and safe zone. You do not want to go to unsafe zone. It can take 6 months. It can take 6 years. Don't care about the time. You care about your practice. You will realize within no time you'll go from here to here without much effort. Don't listen to this a lot. Listen to this when it's needed, but not all the time.
I think having this framework is very helpful, whether one is in the comfort zone, the challenging zone, and just to know which direction it is moving towards.
Right.
So thank you very much for that framework. And also thanks to a friend who asked this question, through which this answer came out. So moving on to the last question. This is from Ravindranath ji, again a regular participant, who is trying to know, because we have explored yoga, the understanding of yoga in its various dimensions. I'm sure you'd be familiar with some of the sessions we have had so far. So he wants to know what actually yoga mean in this context, especially from what you led us through the subtle details of the asana practice. How do you explain what is yoga?
Okay, very simple. So in such international seminars, talks, and whatever countries I go to, I get hey, listen, give us a write-up. What would you like to present? Or what are your sessions like? What is your yoga style like? What do we call this class? So I just call it yoga. I have no other name for it. So the idea is this. I'm not looking for enlightenment. I'm not looking for nirvana. I'm not looking for moksha. I'm not looking for something. I'm not looking for kundalini rising. And I'm not promising anything to you. What I'm promising is, hey, listen, I want you to feel good. That's all. That's all the yoga there is with me. So if you talk about putting it into a context, so the yoga is, I want your day to be better than how we started 1 hour back. I want your body to feel better than how it was 1 hour back. Because it's only small packages of happiness that become like, bigger, like a huge thing. So if you're looking for moksha, then most welcome. I'm with you, I'm for you. But I'm not looking for moksha for you. I'm looking for making your body feel better. I'm looking to make you more healthier. I'm looking to have you have a better day with your family. I want you to, if you want to say, if you're sitting on a chair for 10 hours a day, I just want you to have a better day tomorrow. I just want you to pick something from the floor without any aches and pains. I want you and me to be in such a union that we are on your side, number one. Number two, I want your body to be on your side. That is the union I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything else. Anything else that you want to look for is your job, not mine.
I think thank you for that beautiful answer. Just bringing back our focus into one step at a time. While
Exactly.
the road is long, the destination is there in front of us, yet every movement is a step in a right direction, and focusing on that movement, I think that is so beautifully presented. Thank you very much for that. So I think that's a good point where we can actually bring the session to an end. And there are many, many compliments, good wishes, and gratitude that is coming your way. We have a friend who says, wonderful answers. May you be blessed with Chirayu, Chiranjeevi Bhava. So that's the blessings that they are showering. And also we have, thank you for this wonderful session, amazing. And yeah, the list is long. So thank you very much on behalf of all our participants who have joined us. And I would also like to let them know, because many are asking how can they refer to this session once again. I would like to let them know that all these sessions are being recorded and they're made available on Indica Yoga YouTube channel. All the sessions so far, this is the 92nd session of the festival. It started on International Yoga Day, and as a marathon, as a yajna, which almost like till yesterday it was 3 times a day: Prata Sandhya Vandana, Madhyan Dina, and Sayam. The 3 times where a ritual is performed. So this all these sessions have been conducted. And in the extended period, we just have 2 sessions, the Prataha and the Sayam, the morning and the evening session, which will go on up to 31st July. And all these sessions with wonderful teachers who have been so generous, as you just saw, like Chirayu, to share their insights, their years of practice, just to pour it in one session. So all these sessions are available on Indica Yoga YouTube channel, on Indica Yoga website. So please make use of these resources, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the Facebook page, and stay connected with all these activities.
And if anybody has any questions, like Vinayji said, he's tagged me on Facebook, Chirayu Thakkar. There's no doctor, there's just Chirayu Thakkar, and yogawithchirayu@gmail.com. That's my email address. So just in case.
I request you, Chirayuji, for 2 things. One,
yes.
We will go for announcements at the moment, tomorrow's announcements.
Oh, okay.
And when we go for it, I request you to kindly key in these details in the chat box, where everyone can access. How can they reach out to you? How can they follow your work? And maybe you can share a little about it when we come back. And we also would like you to share with us a parting message, maybe a tip for the practice or a guideline, whatever you are inspired at the moment. So I request you to kindly share when we come back after the announcements.
Sure. Okay. Very well.
Ram Prasad ji, can I kindly request you for the posters for tomorrow? So thank you for the poster. We have two sessions, as I said, one in the morning and one in the evening. In the morning, we have a session by Lakshya ji, who is a yoga teacher and founder of Lakshya Yoga, which has its branches and teachings happening in Dubai and Mumbai, who will be leading a session on in yoga to open the heart. So many of you might be familiar with in yoga. For those who are not familiar, this is a new addition to the genre of yoga that we have, which looks into slowing down practices which are soothing, comforting in nature, and just bring us to a natural state of meditation with the asana practice itself. And that will be led by Lakshya ji, who is also a student of Vedanta, especially did her studies under Swami Dayananda Saraswati and Swamini Atma Prakashananda ji. So she will be leading the session tomorrow. And in the evening, again, we have a very special session on connect within, experimenting with voice, breath, and movements. This is by a dear friend, Circe from Geneva, who is a singer herself, who is a voice trainer, and also the founder of Voice Studio in Geneva, Switzerland. She grew up in Auroville in Pondicherry, inspired by the the vision of a new world where her parents were there, and she carries that intrinsic yogic approach to things, and she is now focusing on how can one help one manifest one's voice. How can each individual get his or her voice expressed and manifested? And these are the ideas that she will be bringing us through the practice session. Tomorrow it will be an interactive and a practice session on connect within, experimenting with voice, breath, and movements. So I request you all to join us for these sessions and also continue this journey along with us. With this, and I would like to come back to Chirayu ji. You already have shared your details where you have given your email ID and also a Facebook page. Is there any other way that they can connect with you?
No,
Follow
these are
your
the
work.
best ways.
Okay. Any website?
Yes, Chirayu. Okay, let me write this down. It's my name, chirayuthakkar.com. But I'm a very people person, so the website was working, has been down for 3-4 months now. I will restart it soon, but that's the website. That's where you can reach me. But email and Facebook are the best methods right now.
So thank you very much. I think all the details are just in the panelist section. I'll be transferring it to the attendees too.
Oh, I see. I wrote in the panelist section. I'm sorry.
No problem. So there it goes. Yeah. That was the message from Chirayu ji, who says, hello everyone, namaste, and these are the details. Yes. So now the last part. What is a message that you want to leave our friends with?
Very simple. Smile. Don't. There's no lot of philosophy. I think if you smile, everything will happen. Smile as much as you can tonight. When you say in India, we have a lot of participants from India. When you go to bed tonight, smile while going to bed. You'll be amazed how happy that makes you feel. And tomorrow morning, you wake up with a smile. And for people in Europe, smile while you're having a dinner. For people in US, smile the entire day. Smile for no reason. You'll feel good and everything will be nice.
Thank you very much, Chirayu. I think you had conveyed this message even before articulating it by just your teaching, by your presence. As we said earlier, your joy, your smile is infectious, and people have already caught it, and you even articulated as the final message at the end. Thank you very much for that.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to seeing you in person sometime soon. And of course, I'll be more than happy to join you on one of these sessions again soon.
Thank you very much. And thanks to all our participants. Good day, good night, good evening, or good morning, wherever you have joined us at the moment. Namaste.
Namaste, namaste, namaste.